Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are going to be chatting about all of the random, weird, strange jobs that I had prior to starting my YouTube channel. A lot of you guys always want to know what I did before YouTube and what led to YouTube and why did I start YouTube. And I thought it would just be kind of fun to sit down and chat about all of the weird jobs that I had before YouTube. And I just hope that my path and just the struggle that I've been through, maybe it'll inspire you if you are trying to make it as a makeup artist or whatever path you're on right now. If you're in school, if you hate the current job that you have and you have dreams for another one, I just want to remind you guys that the moment that you're in does not mean that you're there for the rest of your life. There are different things and different twists and turns that will happen. And so long as you keep your mindset on that dream, that goal, that end result, you can get there. My family had no money. Let's just start there. I was not brought up in like a glamorous setting and everything is so amazing and we all just wore our expensive makeup and heels and la-da-doo-da. Like, that was not my life at all. Being that I'm not a teenager and I am a woman, I'm in my 30s, and I have had a lot of jobs before YouTube. Makeup artistry has always been a strong pull on my heart. I've always loved makeup. I've always enjoyed doing makeup, and I have freelanced quite a bit. And that was, something I was really proud of. When people say, what did you do before YouTube? Oh, I was a makeup artist. But that doesn't mean that that's always how it went down. I moved out on my own when I was 18. I've had every random job out there. I have had to do things that I am not really happy about to make ends meet. That sounded like really not sketchy. We'll get to that point in the story. But I've had to do what I had to do to pay rent and to support myself. And I come from a family that is very loving, but we don't come from tons of money, and it's not like I could call home and be like, hey, can you pay my rent? Like, that was not going to happen. So I have proudly supported myself, and I've done that for a long time. I don't have a college degree. And in fact, I never went to cosmetology school. In California, you can apprentice, you can work as an assistant to a makeup artist and kind of get your work out there and then go about getting hired from different photographers. It is not legally required for you to have a license if you are applying makeup. If you're cutting hair, coloring hair, that's a different story. But here in California, you can absolutely work your way up and just have a nice kit, know your stuff, act professional on set, and kind of, really build your own business that way. So I have done that. Man, I always wanted to go to makeup school. I wanted to. I did not have the funds. I could not find the money to go to school. So it was always really hard to have to work a job to support myself, feed myself, clothe myself, pay rent, and there wasn't much left over to put aside for school. There were times where I didn't really even have a car. There's just been so many ups and downs in my life. So I always talk about makeup and I never talk about me, and it's making me a little bit weird. But I do actually, in real life, something that my friends know about me is I love storytelling and I love weird experiences that leave you with a great story. So keep that in mind. That is something that I hope inspires you. If you have a horrible situation, just think of the awesome story that you will have later on that you can laugh about. So let's just start with little mini Tati, my first job ever, because when I was a kid, I had this very professional mindset. I knew what I wanted out of life. I thought I was going to be super famous. I thought I was going to be famous from the time I was 3. I thought that I was destined for success in the acting world. I was a dancer. I'm like a little bitty thing, and I'm a ballerina. I wouldn't say I'm going to be a ballerina when I grow up. I owned it. So that was always something that I was really good at, is owning what I believed. I believed I was a dancer, I was an actress, I was a singer, I was going to make it so big. And in Seattle, where I grew up, I actually did a lot of musical theater. I sang the anthem at a lot of games and skating shows and at the mall. I was that kid that was bouncing around town performing. I wanted to be on a stage at all times. And I did that until a casting director like kind of quote unquote discovered me, and we moved to LA when I was 13. My mom kind of packed us all in a van, and my parents were going through a divorce, and we just kind of got out of there and moved to LA. So fast forward, you know, I did a lot of acting and commercials and this and that, and then I kind of got burnt out on the whole thing. I don't know, I was homesick, so I went back to Seattle, and I did live with my dad for a while, and that led me to my very first job because I was like, I gotta make some money. Like, I was at the point where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like 15 and I need to wear cute clothing. Like, I need some money. So that was my mission, was actually to just buy cute clothes. So I thought, what a better way than to work at the Gap, because I heard that they gave you a discount. So I worked at the Gap. I remember getting on a bus and having a resume and going and asking to speak to the manager and being very polite and direct. I want to work here. I'll do a good job. You should hire me. I'm going to be amazing. I will clean. I will greet people. Like, I really wanted that job, and I got it. So I greeted people at the Gap for $5.75 an hour, and I folded lots of clothes. So that was my first job. Welcome to the Gap. Can I sell you some crap? I got in so much trouble at that job. I'd always just talk to people forever. Oh my goodness. Okay, so after the Gap, I don't know, I always found myself like up and down of like, I want to be a makeup artist, but I'm so broke. Like, I just need to make money. And I ended up getting a job through a girlfriend, and this was like a coveted job. Like, I remember being so excited about it because it paid so well, and I could not, like, my mind was blown. I was like, why does this pay so much money? Until I actually stood there and I'm like, I understand. This is the most boring job of my entire life. The job I'm talking about is I was a perfume sample lady, where I would be like, Ralph Lauren, anyone, Ralph Lauren? Like, I'd chase you down in the mall and be like, smell it. That was me. So whenever I'm at the mall now and someone's like, here, would you like a sample of whatever? I'm always like, yes, I understand. That job was so bad that actually I remember my feet burning so hardcore because I'd be standing there in my high heels, and I would go and like, I'd be like, I need to use the bathroom. And, you know, I'd get permission or whatever, and I'd go, and I wouldn't have to go to the bathroom. I would actually like time like sitting on the toilet, not doing anything, like just sitting there, giving my feet a break. And for 5 minutes being like, at least that's 5 minutes out of my shift, because I would stand there for 6 hours and it was so boring. I hated that job with a passion. And then things got really serious around 18 when I moved out on my own. I had saved up a little bit of money, but I had nothing coming in. I was just like broke as a joke. So I got an interview through my sister to work at a production company. I worked in accounting. That was a lot of filing, a lot of paperwork. It was a good time. I drove this like beat up old Jeep at the time that didn't even have a radio, and I actually I needed music to drive, and I remember I had a boombox in my car because my car didn't have a radio, and I needed to listen to music on the way home. So I like opened up the CD player in there and put in my music and listened to my little boombox as I drove my piece of crap car home from work. I did a little bit of work as a personal assistant, a little bit in the celebrity world. That was really cool. Not gonna go too deep into that. Moving past that, I did end up working for Beauty Collection. They are a company here in Los Angeles. I don't want to talk too much smack because they're still I still shop there. It was not the funnest experience working there, to be honest. I did get a discount on beauty supplies, and I got a lot of gratis, meaning you could go to classes to learn about products and they would give you free lotion. And of course I'm like, yes. Free product, sign me up. That's all I ever wanted to do in life, is play with product. So that was a pretty cool year of my life. I have a funny story of when I was working for Beauty Collection. This is nothing to do with the job itself. It will just illustrate what a klutz I am, because in real life, I'm that person that's just constantly I don't know why disaster follows me, but I constantly kind of bump into things, and I'm just kind of accident prone. So I was at the cash register. I actually broke the heel off of my high heel just standing at the cash wrap. I just always imagined that that must have looked so strange to see this woman standing behind a cash register, not walking, not doing anything. And it's not like I was like swaying hardcore back and forth. I was just kind of delicately shifting the weight on my heels and the fact that I just like went down. And I remember I had to do the rest of my shift barefoot because I broke the heel off of my high heel. So that was horrible. So that was my stint at Beauty Collection. They did not pay me very well. It was really, really tough to get by with that job. And that's why ultimately I left. I had a bigger opportunity that was a commission-based job. And I ended up traveling around the US for, gosh, on and off. I did this job about 3-4 years. I sold jewelry. There were road shows inside of Costco. Really glamorous, I know. And I sold gemstone jewelry, which I'm really into. I'm kind of a crystal gemstone nerd. I love all of it. I know a lot about different gemstones, and it's something that I think is really exciting and fun and beautiful. And so that was a fun job. I made decent money doing that. It actually got me by and allowed me in between shows, because I would work like 3 months on and then I'd have a couple months off, and I was able to explore more of my freelancing and makeup artistry in between then. But a lot of time, Coffee? Yes, coffee. Yes, you're the best. Perfection. Pumpkin spice perfection. I actually forgot to mention that I did work at Starbucks as a seasonal job during holiday in Seattle. Yeah, I forgot. How did I forget about that job? It's kind of embarrassing, the number of jobs that I've had, but I've always survived. So I'm proud of that. But I have had a lot of jobs. I don't know if that's such a good thing. So anyway, yeah, I worked at Starbucks. Oh my God. I remember feeling like I was just like high off of like the coffee. It's always just like, oh, I'm so awake. And they gave you like free coffee. It was a good / horrible thing. And I had a really big crush on a guy that worked there. Oh my God. Let's like kind of go off like on a weird angle with this story. So there was this guy that had like this crazy fro, and he kind of looked like Sideshow Bob, but I thought he was the cutest thing in the entire universe. But he had a girlfriend, and I couldn't get his attention to save my life. But anyway, after I quit my seasonal job at Starbucks, like a year later, I went back to visit Seattle, and he was the manager of the store, and I wrote the dorkiest, oh my God, like I cringe. I like poured my heart out and was like, I've loved you forever. Oh my God, take me on a date, like desperate. I can't believe I did that. I'm just like reliving that memory right now. It was like on lockdown for so long. So I actually hand delivered this ridiculous letter. I never heard anything from him. Okay, so let's move away from Starbucks. Right. Oh, I'm traveling around the US from Costco to Costco selling gemstones. How do I find these jobs is what I want to know. All good things come to an end. I did really well with that job, but it just got to the point where my life was so like 3 months on, 1 month off. Like I wasn't able to evenly pursue things that I wanted to pursue. It was hurting relationships. It was making me kind of crazy. I was on my feet for 12 hours a day, 10 days straight, and it was just really, really intense. Grateful I had that opportunity in my life, but like it was time to move on. So, and also I met a guy and moved back to Seattle to be with him. Stupid. Don't do that. Do not move your whole life for a guy. Unless he puts a ring on it, just don't. A classic case, move your whole life, guy becomes disinterested, starts to kind of cheat around on you, like it makes you feel crazy about yourself. Like it was just a bad time. But anyway, so I moved back to Seattle, and I have this tug of war with California, Seattle, because all my family's in Seattle and I'm super close with them. But there's something about California that just, I can't do without. Like I need the energy here. I need the sunshine. I need everything that California has to offer me. And that kind of makes me crazy because I go back and forth quite a bit. But anyway, so During this time to travel back to Seattle, I got a job at Nordstrom 1 in downtown Seattle, and I worked at the Bare Minerals counter, and I sold mineral makeup, and I would swirl tap buff your face every day. And it was fun, it was cool. I was a counter assistant manager, so I was kind of in charge. And I met a lot of really cool people, made a lot of cool friends, people that impacted my life that I'll remember forever. So there's always good in every experience. I don't know why at the time I was so hung up on this one guy, the guy that I moved for, really like egg scrambler to your brain kind of relationship. So anyway, let's like throw in the mix of this, like, you know, those videos where people are like, if I could write a letter to my younger self, this is what I would say. I would say to myself, you can do better. You don't need a man's approval. You don't need anyone's approval. You need your own love, your own approval. You are worth whatever dreams and desires you have in this life. Go for them, achieve them. Just go hard at what you love in this world, and the right people are going to be there for you. I spent a lot of time trying to change myself, shift myself, be what I thought this person wanted me to be, and I felt like every time his eye would wander or I would feel insecure, that it was something wrong with me. And it was just a really miserable time in my life. And I learned from the relationship. And again, you can take good from every situation. I have so many like messed up stories that are hilarious from that relationship. Maybe one day I need to make a dedicated video to the worst Valentine's Day ever of my entire life. I literally stood outside in the rain at a bus stop. Like, the story begins there. Let me know in the comments below if you want that story. As an added bonus, my birthday happens to be on Valentine's Day. Anyway, so that time of my life was really, really crazy. I ultimately transferred stores back to Los Angeles, and I worked at the Grove at Nordstrom for a short period of time. They're really intense there in the cosmetics department, like super intense. I was the new girl. I did not fit in. So left that job and thought it would be a really great idea to go and bartend, because I had a girlfriend that was making so much money bartending. She's like, go to bartending school. It's like $300. You'll learn how to bartend, and then you can go and you make so much money. I was like, oh my God, maybe I can make enough money to go to makeup school and like really up my game and redo my kit, and like makeup, always in the back of my head. And I have to say, in between all of these jobs, there were photographers that I worked with that I would occasionally get hired to do headshot makeup. There were indie projects that I would offer my makeup services for free, but I never had like a ton of ongoing clients. Like, it's really tough freelancing unless you're picked up on a television show, a movie. It's just very, very inconsistent, and it's so expensive living here in California that it's a tough industry to make it in, especially back before Instagram and YouTube and all of this. Really, really cutthroat. So anyway, I went to bartending school, and I was there for all of a week before I got offered a job. And I went and I was a bartender, and I had a lot of fun. And I made a ton of money. And I probably put myself in terrible danger because I worked at this dive bar. I had no bouncer. I would be there late at night by myself. Like, I'm the bartender with a bunch of drunk guys and just me. So that was horrible. Bad judgment on my part. I don't even like to drink. I don't even like to drink. And being around drunk people all the time was just like, what am I doing? So I was making like lots of money. It was a good time. I had a new boyfriend. Things are good. And my boss was very like, the girls that would hook up with him would get good shifts, and I would not hook up with him. I came back from a long vacation weekend and abruptly was fired. I can put two and two together. So the crappy thing was, I had just like emptied out my bank account thinking, oh, I'm living on tips. I'm gonna go work a couple shifts. I'll have cash coming in immediately. That's like the horrible thing about doing like a service job, like, you know, waiting tables or bartending, is you know in your head that you can go in and just make that cash really fast. So I didn't have anything in savings. I had no backup, no nothing. My rent was due. I'm freaking out. I got fired from my job. And I called all of my friends, Like, if there's one thing that my mom taught me, it's you're gonna survive, you'll find a way, make it happen. Don't sit around and wait for things to be handed to you. Get off your butt and go make it happen. And I called and called and called and called. I had a girlfriend give me her sister's number, and she's like, you know, I could use an extra hand at the pet shop. So the next day, I go from bartending in my short shorts and cute little tank top to showing up in sweatpants and the grossest t-shirt ever, and I am now a dog groomer. I wash your dog, I scrub your dog, I clean the anal glands, I clip the nails, I did all of that. It was disgusting. It was also totally fun because I love dogs, and I would go home every day and I would have all these like cute moments of like, this dog looked at me and I could tell he loved me so much and had so much trust. And then there were other days where I was like, oh my God, it took me 3 hours to comb this Bichon Frise, and like the owner didn't tip me anything. And then there was this one day that it got so hot and I'm like blow drying the dog, and like hair's flying everywhere. I'm blow drying, and I don't even remember what happened, but it got so hot that I passed out. So that was an interesting job. I did not like it that much though. So once better things came around, I was out of there. I eventually kind of got my stuff together, and I did form a network where, it's funny, I went from like dog washer to like back to makeup and image and all of that. I put together an image consulting group where trainers, nutritionists, hairstylists, makeup artists would do full makeovers, and it was a service. So I'm not going to go too much into detail on that, but that was kind of a little bit when the light bulb went off of, you know what, I want to do something bigger than this. I wanted to do something where I could speak to people, teach, and just be really interactive and help people feel really good about themselves. And I had been with James for about 7 months or so at this point, and I decided to do YouTube. He was super supportive. I mean, I was like flailing everywhere, just like the struggle, you know, like I knew I had gifts. I knew that I had something in me that I wanted to give the world, that I wanted to do, and I wanted to reach people. And I decided I am going to get a camera, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and I'm just going to do it. And I felt like it was already too late for me. I felt like there were so many channels that were already established. I was like, no one's going to watch me, but I'm going to do it anyway. I just knew I wanted to do it. So I decided to do YouTube full force. I didn't have a second job. I really put full-time hours into my channel. I would comment on other people's videos. I would try to get myself out there. I would try to make as many videos as I could. And ultimately it started growing and growing and growing. And I mean, the first 2 years I made no money. No money. The third year I was like, oh hey, like I'm kind of making a little bit, like barely enough to survive. Not really, but I'll take it. And the more I put into it, the more success I found. And then these past couple of years have just been life-changing and so magical. And there is not a day that goes by that I do not remember where I have been. And I'm telling you all of the weird jobs that I've had. I'm telling you the weird funny moments, but in between, like in the layers of all of these weird bartending, dog washing, jewelry selling, makeup, whatever, there have been so many roller coaster moments with my family, with me, with my life, just lots of ups and downs. And I never forget where I come from and how fortunate I am to have my channel. And I wanted to talk about all of these things just in case there were some of you out there that feel like, how am I ever going to get to this bigger place that I dream of? And my advice to you is just never stop dreaming, never stop focusing on that, and just keep making your way, because you will look back and you'll be like, wow, that was such a twisty, windy road, but I needed to go through everything to get to this good spot. So that's where I'm going to leave you with. I hope this was kind of interesting to hear. Let me know if you want more videos about my life aside from just sitting down talking about product, because I have a lot of stories and a lot of life that I've been through, and I'm happy to share it. I definitely am not, you know, I can give you friendly advice, but I'm still trying to figure out a lot myself, I guess is what I'm saying. I hope this was fun to watch. Let's just leave it at that. And if this was not fun to watch because it was missing beauty products, then there was a hot product of the week yesterday on Style Code Live. Also, they announced the 3 finalists for the Style Code Live talent search. So I will link that below. Go watch it, check it out. And I'm just gonna wish you guys an awesome weekend. Stay true to your dreams. I mean that in the most genuine, non-cheesy way. And I'm sending you guys so much love. I will see you in my next video. Mwah.